In November 1992, I was attacked. I'd come out from a Chinese takeaway. The guy pushed me and I scalded myself with the soup. I chased after him and he led me into a trap with 6 other guys with baseball bats who beat upon my head and fractured my skull. They had to operate fast. The friend that was in the ambulance...
What I had was a toothache that my dentist could not remove because I had an abscess. I was sent to the hospital. They took a biopsy it. He said, well, you have cancer, but it is spreading rapid. They said they were going to cut up under my nose, around and underneath my eye, all the upper jaw.
Besides their trauma, Londoners Chris Pablo and Roland Scott have something else in common. The surgeon that saved their lives and reconstructed their faces, Ian Hutchinson.
I'm what's called an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. What it means is people who've been in car crashes, people who've been assaulted and had facial injuries, cancer. If you change somebody's face, you change their psyche because of the way people look at you or the way you feel people look at you.
I looked like a psycho. I had a scar going from ear to ear across a bald head, an eye that had slightly dropped, a horrific scar on my forehead, which was constantly weeping. You could say, God, that man is so hard. You don't want to mess with him. And it was completely the opposite, because on the inside I was shaking, literally.
I had to have radiotherapy, and that was worse, believe it or not. They make a plastic mask, and to make that mask, they give you a tube to breathe through, like a little straw, and they cover the whole face in this like jelly, and then cover that in plaster of Paris. Your nose is blocked, your eyes are covered, you can't see, you're very hard to breathe, and you are totally and utterly on your own, and it is terrifying. There's no other word for it. Terrifying.
Roland surgeon Ian Hutchinson deals with the external scars of trauma, but he knows that for a full cure, far deeper wounds have to be treated too. His mother, a doctor, fled the Nazis from Austria in 1938. He grew up in an apartment over her office, influenced by her passion for medicine and music and painting. When she died a few years ago, he took the money she left and applied it to an even greater legacy, her belief that people need medicine and art to be well. He set up a program for a hospital artist in residence, and he hired a Scottish portraitist named Mark Gilbert to paint his patients before, after, and even during surgery.
I couldn't believe what I was looking at. To see the head, which is such a sort of sensitive area at the best of times, opened up in such a sort of brutal way, really. If I do a normal portrait, you're taking a normal face, you turn that into something special, that's your aim. Whereas here, you're not having to make it more special, you're almost having to do justice to the subject that you're dealing with.
What I said to Mark at the outset was, look, you've got a free rein to do whatever you want and help the patients come through what is probably the most emotional event of their lives. I just want you to paint faces.
Just paint faces. Some of the most hideous faces in the world.
Every day, the secretaries would come in to see Mark painting. The patients used to come up and see other people being painted. So Mark became a kind of fulcrum around which we all revolved.
When Mark done the paintings, I had to relive the night to tell him the story, yeah? Brought up a lot of things. How I felt now. What do I feel about the people that have beaten me up?
It was a relief, really. It became, for me, a therapy. Knowing that he knew what I was going through, it just makes you better. It really does help to heal you. I wouldn't have got through it without it.
Yeah, absolutely surprised me. Each time I would think I would be going too far, the patients themselves would say, no, we want to see it, carry on. He felt valued, which was terrific.
He was acting like a counsellor. He was listening to the patients. They were telling him things they wouldn't tell their own family, anybody else. The patients love me and adore me, which is why I'm doing this in the first place. And they very often don't want to say to me, Doctor, I'm not very happy about this, or I'm not very happy about that, because they feel it's hurtful to me. I began to understand much, much more about what affected them and what helped them and what didn't help them.
Mark had originally thought his portraits might end up in a medical school. But galleries in England and Europe were interested in putting them on display. And last year, a selection opened to the public at London's prestigious National Portrait Gallery.
I was unsure as to how the exhibition was going to be received, that it could just be seen as, you know, a sort of chamber of horrors or as a sort of gratuitous kind of freak show or something like that.
People have said it's disgusting, said it's not art. And I replied, well, what is it then if it's not art?
A woman at the National Portrait Gallery said to me, "Why did you do it?" And I said, "Well, why not? The surgeon saved my life. The least I can do is sit while somebody paints me, surely." You know, I explained everything that I went through and how it helped me. And I think I go away a bit more enlightened.
I think when I tell the story to people and when I tell them what happened, you can see that they're amazed and they look at you as if to say, "Wow, you came through that. What is your power?" And I said, "Well, look, I'm not Superman. You know, everyone has got the power within them to deal with life's problems."
At the National Portrait Gallery, there must have been about, without exaggerating, maybe about 1,000 comments, and there was about 5 that felt that it was maybe inappropriate. And I can remember there was one that wrote her husband had thrown acid in her face, and she'd written all about her experiences, how she felt about the exhibition, and then her last line was that she was now going home to do a self-portrait.
You can become a very, very angry person and you can want to seek revenge. I took a different path. I grew up with conflict. My mother's side of the family is Irish, from the north. Wars everywhere. My dad was Greek Cypriot, and he lost his land and everything due to the Turkish invasion in 1974. And I said to him once, "You know, you've got to let this go. You've really got to let it go because it would kill you." And he said, "Son, I can never let it go. I can never forget." And it did kill him. And I learnt through that I had to let this go completely.
Sometimes you just think, "Oh, what next? What else is going to come up?" But you get through it, you know.
Would you have rather that none of this had ever happened to you?
No. I was very self-centered, you know. Me and that was it. Me and my family. And as far as I was concerned, the rest of the world never existed. But now it totally changed my life around. Life's not kind to anybody. You have to take your chance and deal with it. You went through a traumatic time, but you got through it with the help of others. Pass it on to other people.